Oh, I missed the start. Well, here we go. Into the hard. So phantaci already up by 1. And Eiko has a grand total of 33 damage in the first minute. Eiko does have that 100 armor, and he hasn't taken any damage to it, so this belt grab is pretty clean as phantaci backs off. And this map is all about the vials. If you're in a stalemate, chances are there's 6 or 7 vials that you can go and absorb. What a snipe. And these fantastic shock primaries from Eiko. Oh, pulls out the sniper rifle instead of the link gun though. Kind of questionable. In the heat of the moment, thought he could hit the shot, and phantaci's able to hit a big combo. Although Eiko, calm and composed, just backs off over to the 100 armor. And that puts him in a pretty solid position for this next belt. Admittedly, with the shock rifle, anything is possible. And it's always that first kill that's the difficult one. Once your opponent's on Enforcer and struggling for weapons, it becomes pretty simple to pick him off. But phantaci having to back away from the 100 before he picked it up, and tons of damage. Eiko hears the teleporter as well. Still opting for the sniper. Oh, phantaci onto 12. And shot, yeah, there we go. Should have done that a bit earlier, maybe. And now Eiko needs to deny these weapons, probably expecting phantaci to go over towards the shock rifle, which is exactly what he does. And a brilliant rocket. Just so you guys are aware, this is on UT Pugs London, so Eiko has the ping advantage for this map. I don't know if it's map 2 or 1. Great sniper. And Eiko, he's liking this position by the 50, able to put a lot of pressure onto phantaci when he's trapped on the ramp. And this is going to be a 3rd free belt in a row. No contest by phantaci on the previous 2. And does give away another shock though, does Eiko. But the pressure is still pretty solid. And he has this 50 to take. A couple good primaries from phantaci. And Eiko is losing the fight here, slowly but surely. He has delayed enough to get this 100 armor though. So, nicely played. Here's the shock spawn. phantaci's actually making a play for it, but Eiko, nice and patient, just waited a second there to make sure that phantaci had committed. And that meant that he got that free kill. Follows it up with another one. And again, good position on the belt. phantaci has no guns. Doesn't even have this sniper yet. Eiko is actually able to push out a bit and delay phantaci even more. And while there is a contest by phantaci on the belt, it doesn't actually do any damage. So still, that's 4 free belts in a row for Eiko. A lot of control for him. But phantaci gets that 100 off the back of a flak play, so let's see what he can do with it. He's not too far behind in terms of damage. It's just that those belts have been making the difference. phantaci's up in Eiko's face, can't connect with the final flak that would do the job. Oh, the rockets are so good from Eiko. And phantaci has to scramble for the health. Those vials kept him alive, but only just. You see, he avoided that shock rifle pickup. He does want it, but didn't want to make the sound cue, and he's messing his movement up here. Okay, I'm not really... Just pretend you didn't see that. Finally gets himself to the health, but... shock is long gone. Great flak ball by phantaci, and that actually bumps Eiko up in the air long enough for him to get himself onto the belt, and Eiko goes down. Not before doing a ton of damage, though. And phantaci gets spawned on, which, in most scenarios, when you have that flak out, is ideal, but the Enforcer player from Eiko is really strong. And it's just the health pack that keeps phantaci alive, and eventually the kill goes his way. Eiko committing to the fight. And now phantaci can't make a play for the 50. Will eventually heal himself back up though. You see him quietly approaching this 225s. Okay. Damage still plus 200 for the Frenchman. But this 100 will go to phantaci. Relatively uncontested. Aiko's in a good position for the belt, but it looks like phantaci slipped past him. So belt goes to phantaci. Aiko slightly out of position there. And now phantaci is going to absorb those vials. Crucial on this map, as I was saying earlier. And a big shock primary battle here. Most of the damage going Aiko's way. He's actually even the stacks up despite the belt disadvantage. But perfect positioning from phantaci. Has the 100 there to pick it up. He's zoned Aiko into this 25 area, which is by far the most useless area of the map. Aiko does get himself to the 2 health packs, which is what was crucial for him to hit that combo, but the cheeky sniper play from phantaci. Aiko spawns right behind him. And you see he goes straight to that shock rifle, knows that Aiko's going to want to have that gun. And this is classic phantaci play right now. Iron grip on the power-ups. Why did I say that? And then, of course, he loses the belt, but won't end up mattering. Aiko down to 6 health. And phantaci, here's the spawn. Aiko down by the bio. And it's all tied up with 2.5 minutes left. Phantaci on a killing spree. But it's Aiko's turn to get the 100 armor off the spawn. And remember, that's what turned this all around. phantaci was able to get that 100 armor and started building the comeback. His aim's looking on point at the moment as well. Despite the ping disadvantage, actually taking the damage lead. Oh, this link is so annoying to deal with, but phantaci is dealing with it well, being nice and patient. Oh, needs to watch out though, down to 12 health. Aiko's pushed him off the 100, and phantaci's lucky to get away alive there. Aiko is on 7 health though, risky play. And the belt will go to phantaci, another close one there. Aiko hoping to spawn on it by the rocket launcher, great rocket. phantaci's now down to 12. But he always has health to back up onto, it's crazy. Positioning is so good. Oh, I love that double back move there by phantaci. Wanted the health, decided it was worth it, and Aiko did not see it coming. 100 armor's up. Oh, the pillar blocked the combo from phantaci, but still looking pretty comfortable right now. I'm going to switch over to Aiko, see what he can do in this last minute. Has to push here. And I don't know if this is map 2 or 1 or what, but regardless if you're Aiko, you want to win the EU map. It is split servers when playing between NA and EU. So you want to take that advantage. And these snipers are great. I love what Aiko's doing here. He's pushing out to the health packs. He knows phantaci's going for them, even though the belt is still up. But oh, the 100 armor's up as well. It's going to be really difficult for Aiko to play this. Because no matter which one he goes for, phantaci can go and take the other one. And he's heard phantaci down by the flak. Knows he has that 100. He's got 30 seconds. Has to make a play. Oh, the sound cues though. phantaci's running. Oh, the shock is not connecting for Aiko. Now phantaci has a shock, which is going to make this so much more difficult as to deal with those corner combos. And I think Aiko's best bet is to try and cut phantaci off here somehow, but he just can't find him. 10 seconds left. Needs a huge damage combo or something here. Looks like it won't happen. Close one. And Aiko, he did take back that 200 damage lead in the end, but not enough to bring back the score. And I guess that was a 2-0, because the GGs are called. We're catching a lot of the end of series this time around. Look at the bracket, see what's going on.